fire away.
When will we be able to change our PlayStation Network names?
The elves back at the North Pole have been working on that for quite some time.
I've noticed, yes. Many PSXs I've talked to people, and they're always working on it very hard.
It's a large piece of work.
Yeah.
And it's more complex than I think we... Hey. What, are you a coder? You want to come solve this problem? Let me put it this way. I hope we'll see events occur that you don't have to ask me that question next PSX.
Okay. I thank you for that answer. And that.
Well, you don't have to keep your promise of having PSN name changes by PSX 2018 if you don't have a PSX 2018. I'm on to you, Sean Layden. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, Man with the Million, back again with another video. And yeah, PlayStation Experience is not going to happen this year, and that's a bummer for PlayStation fans, as it has been pretty good in the recent years. They even announced a couple big games back during PSX 2016, The Last of Us Part 2 as well as Uncharted Lost Legacy, so this was an event a lot of PlayStation fans look forward to every single year. But last year's PSX 2017 left a lot of sour tastes in gamers' mouth, as it was not up to par to previous PSXs. In fact, we knew that right away when we tuned in to check out the conference, and it was just a bunch of couches and chairs on stage. We knew something was up, and it was a boring show. So what exactly happened today? Well, Sean Layden went on the PlayStation blogcast, and he said that for 2018, I know this is going to be a disappointment to some people, but we decided to not hold PlayStation Experience this year. We won't have it in the States this year. The reasons behind that really are we have a lot of progress they are making on our games. Now that we have Spider-Man out the door, we're looking down into 2019 games like Dreams and Days Gone. But we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location, North America, to have that event. We don't want to set expectations really high and then not deliver on it. It was a hard decision, but we have determined that this year we will not hold PlayStation Experience. And you know what? If you were going to put on a show similar to PSX 2017, where it was just boring, where there was nothing exciting for the people at home watching, I know it's kind of exciting for the people at the event, getting to talk to developers and play some games, so I'm strictly speaking from somebody watching at home. If it was going to be that boring show again, then this is the right thing to do. Just not have the show, so nobody can really be disappointed in it. Sure, you can be a little disappointed that there is no PlayStation Experience, but then at least you don't go run the show and, have nothing to show and just have interviews and have people even more upset. So I think in that regards, if you got nothing to show and you don't have anything good to put out, then don't bother doing it. Now, of course, it is kind of funny that last year when talking to Greg Miller, he said that name changes he hoped would be ready for PSX 2018, and well, he didn't. If you watch the clip, which I included in the beginning, he didn't say PSX next year, if you caught that. He said next PSX. And since there's no PSX this year, presumably the next one is 2019, which means he can still be a man of his word. As long as the changes are there for PSX 2019, he can go to Greg Miller and be like, I never lied. I said next PSX. And this one is the right one. You know what I mean? So, he kind of left himself and out there. He's a businessman. He's a PR person. He didn't say, PSX 2018. He said next PSX. So smart move for Sean Layden there. Now, with this news that there is no PSX, I see a lot of people talking about this confirms that PS5 is coming next year. there's kind of this argument about whether PlayStation 5 is coming 2020 or 2019. And now with no PSX this year, the camp who really do think it's coming in 2019 is saying this is just further proof of that. You know, they don't want to show, they don't have a lot of games to show, and they'd rather save it for like an early event in 2019 where they can, you know, go do a New York event and announce PlayStation 5 and then show off all the brand new games there and be like, hey, PlayStation 5 available at the end of the year. So there's this kind of like push and pull. Does this really confirm that PlayStation 5 is coming in 2019, or do we still fall in line with 2020? You see, I'm a little bit torn on this one. With Xbox, it's a lot simpler. I think 2020 is the earliest they could put out a brand new system. In fact, I kind of would scoff at the idea of a brand new Xbox in 2019. You know, they've already announced games for 2019 like Gears of War and Ori and Crackdown, right? And presumably Gears is at the end of the year. If there was a new Xbox coming out, that would be a launch title. And considering Xbox One X's just came out last year, you kind of get the feeling that they're a couple years away for their next system, which is why I say 2020. But with PlayStation, I'm really torn on this one. There's a lot of good reasons to say 2020, like the fact that they're dominating the video game industry. Why would you cut the legs out from under their PlayStation 4 and introduce the PlayStation 5? All that good stuff, right? The people make those claims. But then you also have, hey, like what if PlayStation 5 launches in 2019? You get a year head start on your competition, which would be absolutely massive. Don't count out exactly how much a 1 year head start means to any like a video game system. Just look at what the 360 was able to accomplish a year before the PlayStation 3 and the Nintendo Wii came out. So you do, come out in 2019, you have that year start that could really help you move a lot of your user base from PlayStation 4 into PlayStation 5. And then you look at the games that Sony has currently announced for 2019, which is just Dreams and Days Gone. Now, I've always been of the opinion that if somehow Sony was able to get Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 out next year, then PS5 is next year. Like, if they can get both those games out next year, it's going to happen. However, I'm still not really sure when either of those games will come out. The Naughty Dog, fans, the ones that really know, well, let me know in the comments. Be like, Rand, Last of Us Part 2 is coming next year, right? And I believe it. It probably can. Naughty Dog works really fast. But I'm still not really sure about Ghost of Tsushima, and people will say, well, that game's going to come next year because Infamous Second Son, which was their last game, came out in 2014, I believe, like right around the launch of the PlayStation 3, or PlayStation 4 rather, and what have they been working on for all that time, So it's got to come next year. And if that really does happen, then I fully kind of believe the PlayStation 5 is at the end of the year. Because I don't think Death Stranding is next year. I think Death Stranding is 2020. But somehow, if one of those games or both of those games slip into 2020, then maybe the PlayStation 5 is 2020. I don't know. And I'm not really sure PSX not happening is confirmation that PlayStation 5 is next year. I honestly just think they don't have anything to show, that Sean Layden is telling the truth, where they don't want to let people down and they don't have a lot of updates about the games, although that never really stopped them from dissing out trailers at every event for Last of Us 2. I mean, how many trailers have we seen for that game now? 3, I think. 1 at PSX 2016, 1 at Paris Games Week, 1 at E3 this year. We've only seen 1 gameplay demo for Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, you could easily do that one. Sure, you could do Days Gone again, but people have seen hour-long gameplay footage of that title, so maybe people aren't really interested in that. And of course, there's always Death Stranding. That just got another trailer, and still nobody really knows what the game is. Could always do something there, but maybe it's just not ready. So I tend to believe him when he says they didn't really have any new progress to show anybody about. They weren't going to do a repeat of last year and just hype people up only to disappoint them. So they're not doing it, and I don't think it really hints that PlayStation 5 is coming next year. But it very well could come next year, but I don't think it's, I don't think this not happening is the reason. Now, it is interesting though that Microsoft is doing an XO event, bringing it back after being gone for so long, and now it does make more sense. There is a void opened up for an end of the year type show, and Microsoft just walked right into it, and they'll have all the news coverage and everything for themselves. They must have known or gotten wind that PlayStation wasn't holding the PSX this year, and Microsoft's like, here's an opportunity for us to step into it and get some positive press coverage. But now that PlayStation isn't having one, and people, you gotta be careful, Microsoft. You can't do what they did last year. You can't do what you do normally at every Inside Xbox episode. You're gonna have to hype people up and show new things to get people excited about Xbox. But I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because now it does make a lot of sense about why suddenly XO's coming back and there is no PSX this year. Makes a lot of sense to me. Anyways, guys, that is the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did. Share this out on Twitter. Hit the sub button if you're new to the channel. Hi, how's it going? Randall419. Make daily videos, review games. Hope you enjoyed here. And hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified when I drop new content. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.